I'm testing out this new software type thing, Restream, so I can see. Hopefully, it's working. I'm streaming live to Facebook and hopefully YouTube at the same time. So we'll see if it's working. I don't know. The camera's kind of crummy. I don't know if that's my camera or it's probably just my camera, or if the software is like that. But testing this out, so just seeing how everything works, and kind of want to consolidate and make sure, and so I don't have to do two different videos of the same thing. So making it easier on myself and trying to streamline things. So, but yeah, today, yeah, finally getting some rain here, much needed the last couple of days. And yeah, we definitely need it. It's been a weird summer. Hasn't had a lot of rain here in Wisconsin, Minnesota. It seems like, or not as much as usual anyway. So hopefully that means we're not going to have much snow either in the winter. But you never know; it could be snowing next week. But other than that, today I want to jump on and talk about muscle building and training like an athlete to build muscle, and more so, I want to get into some mistakes that you should avoid when you are trying to build muscle, train like an athlete. So, whether you are an athlete currently looking to put on some lean muscle, or someone like me, a former athlete, recreational athlete, a once upon a time athlete who always wants to be athletic, be an athlete for life, train like an athlete for the rest of your life. These are some mistakes that you should avoid and if you want to add lean muscle to your body. So number one is just not eating enough. Too many people, I want to build, especially I run into this more a lot with the youth athletes I've been working with recently, is they don't eat anything. They they got their metabolisms are super high. They got tons of activities. They're training. They're playing sports. A lot of times, multiple sports at the same time. And it's like, what did you have for breakfast today? Oh, I had a banana. It's like, nah, that's not gonna get it done. We got to eat if we want to build muscle. Youth athletes probably even more, and it's tough to say. I can't give you like a specific number of calories or protein or carbs or fats or any of the macros. It's all going to be individualized, and you gotta. I mean, tracking is probably the best way to start and just see how much you're eating. You can use the hand measure method. You could track calories, macros, things like that, but it's going to be different for everyone. So you want to be eating in a slight surplus. So find your maintenance, and if you're going to be tracking calories, find your maintenance calories, and then bump that up maybe like 10% above that, something like that. Or you could do like your body weight times 18, and that would give you like a body weight times 15 to 18, probably a good rough starting point on the calories to eat if that's the way you want to go. Otherwise, you can just weigh yourself daily and notice what you're eating. And if you're losing weight over a couple weeks, then no, you have to eat more to gain muscle mass and lean mass. So that's the number one thing I think is not eating enough. Too many people don't eat enough when they want to build lean muscle. So you know that you have to eat more to grow more. So that is the number one thing that I want to talk about. But another mistake people make is they target like they only want to train their overdeveloped muscles. So let's call these. You maybe hear me call them the mirror muscles. So the muscles you see in the mirror, the muscles I can see in the camera, like my biceps, my chest, my quads, those muscles, the abs, everything in the front. Everyone wants to train those muscles only, and sure they'll get overdeveloped, but that's going to cause problems. And just because those muscles are bigger doesn't mean they're good and functional, even though I don't like the term, but they work properly and make sure your body's moving properly. So we got to target other muscles as well. So mistake number two is that they only target their mirror muscles, or their overdeveloped muscles, like because you can see these in the mirror. So it's like, oh yeah, I look good with my chest is buff. I got the guns are showing. You can see the veins in the arms or whatever it is, but you got to work on the other side too. So flip it around. Think your upper back, your lower back, your butt, your hamstrings, your calves. those mirrors that you, or those muscles that you don't see in the mirror, um, a lot of times are underdeveloped. And if you're only focusing on the mirror muscles, the overdeveloped muscles, you're not gonna. And if you are gaining muscle, it's gonna be super imbalanced. You're gonna get the Quasimodo, the hunchback, hunched over all the time, because that working on only the muscles in front of you combined with being on the computer all the time, being on the phone all the time, gaming all the time, it's going to cause those imbalances, and we don't necessarily want those. So that would be another mistake I see, and then you should avoid. And another common mistake, especially if you're trying to be athletic and want to move well and feel the best throughout life, is using the wrong type of split. So training split. So, and a lot of times this comes down to the bro split. If you're an athlete or you train like an athlete, want to be an athlete at life and be an athlete for life, which I think is the best way to train, you should not be using bro splits. And when I'm saying bro splits, I'm talking about your, Monday's chest, Tuesday's back, Wednesday's legs, Thursday's arms. That 7 day a week split where it's split out in each separate body part. That's not going to get you enough frequency. It's good for, yeah, if you're bodybuilding or whatever, if you're trying to get on stage, I guess maybe. But if you're listening to this, if you're working with me, you don't want to be a bodybuilder. Bodybuilders are some of the most unhealthy people in the world. So you want to have either, I prefer people to be a full body split, kind of like 3 days a week. If they're going 4 days a week, upper lower split, or even a push pull leg split. So something like that that's focusing more on working more than one body part each day or each training session. So yeah, don't use the bro split. So you should not be having a chest day only. You should not be having a back day only. It should be upper, lower, full body, push, pull legs, those types of things. Those are much better training splits because it's going to allow you to recover better. It's going to allow you to hit more the muscle groups more often. You're going to feel better, move better, and just build a more well-rounded, athletic body rather than just a body that's all show and no go. Then we move on to kind of with that same mindset, or that same mindset, I guess, or the same points as the bro split, is the isolation movements. Yeah, everyone wants the gun and stuff, and you can sprinkle in isolation movements. So when I say isolation, I'm talking about movements that focus mainly on one muscle or one joint at a time. So I think like a bicep curl or a tricep curl or a tricep push down, something like that. And yeah, those things are fine, but you should really focus on compound movements. So your squats, your hinges, your pushes, your pulls, lunges, and mainly use isolation movements for like your weak points. So a lot of times it's the upper back, it's biceps, it's calves, things like that you throw in some pump work maybe at the end of a workout, but you're not going to be focusing on that. Should be the minor details, is those isolation movements, whereas the major details, the big rocks, it's those compound movement patterns that you should be doing. Like I said, the squats, the hip hinges, the pushes, pulls, lunges, carries, sprinting, all those types of things, way more so than the isolation movements. And another one, the final one I'll hit on today, there's plenty more, but I just want to hit on these 5 today, and that would be training to failure all the time. Yeah, I mean, it's good to know what failure is because that can help you learn an RPE scale, the rate of perceived exertion, or the RIR scale, the reps in reserve. So knowing what you can do for a weight, that's one thing. But if you're always going to failure, you're not going to survive. You're not going to feel good. You're going to be worn down, beat down, because especially if you're an athlete or train like an athlete, you're not a powerlifter or bodybuilder, so you don't necessarily need to train to failure. Yeah, it's good every once in a while, maybe you do a set to failure, or do some, like I said, an isolation pump exercise for the arms to failure at the end of a workout. But that's totally different than just doing it all the time. Because if you're an athlete and you're training for a sport, you need to save your energy for that sport. And even if you're just an athlete for life, like myself, You want to save some energy and be fresh for work, for school, for your family, for a big event coming up or that game coming up. So you want to be fresh. It's like Tony Holler says, you got to focus on recovery, train hard and fast, but you got to be fresh. You don't want to burn the steak, so to speak. So you got to be fresh when it comes to that. So making sure you're recovering, and if you're always training to failure, like super high reps type thing, that's just gonna crush your neurological system. You're gonna burn out. You're gonna get injured, and you just don't need it. So put on muscle. Avoid those 5 mistakes that I mentioned, and it will help you. So you make sure you're eating enough. So avoid eating too little. Number 2 would be, don't just focus on your mirror muscles or your the muscles in front of you. You got to focus on the entire body, the posterior chain as well. Don't use the bro split, the chest, back, legs, arms, those types of things. Don't use that. Use a push pull legs, upper lower, full body are much better splits if you're trying to be an athlete. And then number 4 we're on. So just recapping is focusing only on isolation movements. If you're doing too many of those, yeah, like I said, sprinkling them here and there, but you should not be focusing that. Those should not be the main point of your lift or your training sessions. And the final one is train to failure all the time. That's just going to leave you burnt out. You're not going to have energy to compete in your sport or perform at work in your daily life and be there and have energy to do the things you really want to do, like play with your kids, go on vacations, spend time with a family, that type of thing. So those are 5 mistakes that you should avoid when trying to build muscle if you are an athlete or if you are training like an athlete. So any questions, guys, comment below, send me a DM. Make sure you, if you're checking this out on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, like the video. If you're on Facebook, go over to my YouTube page, check it out. Make sure you like and subscribe, and send me any comments, any DMs, any questions you guys might have. Other than that, have a great day, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.